basically you can take manual processes, manual forms, PTO requests, purchase order requests, and put all of that into a digital automated process within a Power App. So here under Home, it's asking us if we want to start from data. We can start from a SharePoint list, Excel online document, SQL Server, and Common Data Service. And then also we have make your own app from a Canvas app, which a Canvas app allows you to basically drop and click and drop pieces into it. So I'll show some of that in a few. There's also model driven app, which is basically like a model built out with steps, stages. And then there's also a portal that you can build from. So a portal essentially is very new to the Power Apps family. Portals are web pages, websites. So if you have a process and you want to build an external website that can be built out within a portal, and then from there you can have external users access it. It's pretty cool, pretty robust piece of technology, and it's the newest addition of functionality to Power Apps. Underneath this, we have a learning area. So here you can see getting started with Power Apps. It's a beginning learners module, 51 minutes long, a lot of good details in here, basically to get you started. And there's some exercises in here as well. And then there's a quiz at the end, which is usually about 5 or 6 questions on what you've learned, what you've read through. So it goes from beginner to intermediate, and there's also advanced. And it's all free from Microsoft and is included in your subscription for Power Apps. And then below that, you can see my apps. These are apps that I've built in the past few months, weeks. So just a small list of them will be here on your Home tab page. If I want to access all my apps, I can just click on this link here to access all apps, or I could go to apps here, which I'll get to there in a moment. Next tab down is Learn. And here's just a lot of good topics to access. You have a learning guide here, which you can download as just videos, and you can also download the Power Apps PDF document, which is about 13 chapters of information. So basically, it's very informative on how to create apps and how to go into detail, how to establish certain pieces of functionality with those apps, saving pictures, sending pictures out to other users, creating videos. It's really robust, and it goes into a lot of detail in there. Next area here, you have help topics. So there's just, if you're trying to figure out how to do something, how to establish a connection with 2 forms, copy and pasting information without doing it manually, there's items in there to that extent, and you can just access that, and you can see what the other individuals have done and how they've taken on those challenges. And community as well, you can see that in there. Community helps you troubleshoot items, and you can share ideas for Power Apps. So with Power Apps, when you submit an idea to Microsoft, they'll take a look at that and then they'll vote on it within 30 to 45 days. And once that's done, if your idea is accepted, there'll be a plan put in place to create that functionality of that idea to include it within the realm of Power Apps. So it might be something like a barcode scanner, something that you see that you want to leverage, and that you can build that within the Power App, and it's not already there. And there's just a lot of good conversations in there with what people have done in the past and are doing now, workarounds, etc. And then below that, this section here is what's new. So when you get to this section, there's a lot of updates of what's coming out in the current release. So the last release for Power Apps was 9 February, new search experience and quick actions in Power Apps. And then it's dated here, the newest update underneath that is 8 February 2021, communicate broadly and collaborate effectively with 2 new Power Apps. So it gives you an idea of what's been done, what's been updated, and it goes back with a history log of that information. If I go down to the next tab, that's where my apps live. So as you can see here, all the apps that I've created throughout my time with Marquee 360, quite a bit. And you can see there's some are Canvas, and if you go down, some are model-driven apps. And some of these have been shared with me and created by my colleagues. So you can see this one here, Innovation Ready. This was created by Neil Alcott, so he shared it with me, so I have access to it. So some of these I'm owner of and some of these I'm not. Next tab down is create. So with create gives you the option to create an app from a Canvas app, which is basically like your SharePoint or your PowerPoint skills when you have a PowerPoint screen and you're clicking on a text box to drop in, you're clicking on a picture to drop in, stuff to that extent. And then the model-driven app, that's the next type of app you can create. You're building out your pieces, your processes. So step one, somebody submits a form for a new purchase order. Step two, that form goes to that individual supervisor to review it and either reject or approve. If it gets approved, then it goes to the department supervisor and so forth. So model-driven apps, you're creating all of those steps to establish how you want your process run. And going down to flows, this is where your workflows are going to live at that are associated to your Power Apps. Yeah, there it's coming in now. So you have cloud flows, you have desktop flows, and then business process flows, and the flows that are shared with you. So you can also create a new flow from this drop down as well. But these are your workflows, essentially your workflows who are doing all the in-between items, sending that form out to your supervisor, creating a email and generating that email that gets to your supervisor, taking that information if he approved it or rejected the form, and then doing all the in-between stuff. And then the last area I want to cover on here is solutions. So solutions, it's basically a pot of everything that you want to create for one type of requirement, one type of process. So if you have a process for purchase orders, you can put all your pieces into the solution, which would include your fields, your tables, your columns, your option sets, your dashboards, etc. So I'll just show a quick example. I'll pick PFW timesheet. And as you can see here, associated to this solution, to this business process, we have multiple tables. We have a Canvas app. We have choice columns and so forth. So a cloud flow. So there's a lot of little integrated pieces, and they all live underneath this solution, and they're all tailored to meet the requirements identified for this solution. So that's a quick rundown of the Power Apps interface when you first start at login and see your options on the left pane. With that, I'm going to build an app out, and at this point I'm going to open up the Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to develop that app from. So as you can see here, it's titled Flooring Estimates, and I have different columns at the top here: name, category, price, image, overview. So this was pre-built earlier in the week, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this data within a Power App. It's going to be a Canvas Power App and generate it, and then we'll go through that app itself. But this will be the data source for that app. And again, you can use multiple data sources. You can use an Excel spreadsheet, you can use a SharePoint list, you can utilize Project Online, etc. So there's a lot of ways to create these. So as I come back to Power Apps, I'm going to go to my apps, new. I'm going to hit select Canvas. And as that's loading, you can see my options here. I can create an app from the common data service, which that lies within the solutions, all those integrated pieces, tables, columns, option sets, choice. And we have SharePoint here and SQL Server. And also down below, we have the options to create apps from blank and apps from templates. There are a series of templates in here as well. I believe there's about 28. So definitely if you see something within the templates that you want to create, and you can take that, create it, add your data source, and then edit the branding for your organization company, definitely go ahead and do that. It's will help you save time instead of starting from scratch. So for this example, I'm going to select phone layout, OneDrive for Business. So now it's taking me to my connections, and these are all the data sources that I have connected. And as you can see here, Common Data Service has a diamond because it is a premium connector that I have access to. Okay, so with that, I'm going to look for my flooring estimates, and I believe right here in Excel section, I'm going to open that up because that's going to be my data source for this flow. So now it's bringing me to the table within that item. So I'm going to select the table, flooring estimates, and I'm going to hit connect. So now all the magic is going on in the background. Putting everything together, communicating with all the pieces, communicating with OneDrive. All this is integrated with all the pieces that Microsoft provides within the Office suite. So there you go. You can see that an app has been created, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see it better. So now we have a phone layout app. It's a Canvas app, and you can see all that information that was in the spreadsheet now lies within this gallery. So this is a gallery of all the types of flooring samples. And if I want to search for a certain type, I'd go to this search bar here, or actually I would hit play, go to the search bar here, and I want to search for Lush. And then it filters out to all the Lush type carpets. So all that functionality has already been put together. It's already been generated with this no-code solution. So just to cover some of the interface here, this is where you edit your Power App. You do configuration changes, modification changes. So up here at the File tab, you'll see that once I click that, I can change the name of the app. So if I want to call it Jarrell's app, I can do that. And then also we have some icons that we can change. So I want to give it the star icon and change the color. And then put a description. What's the purpose of the app? I have that space here. And then also we have an option at the next tab down to change the orientation. I can make it landscape or just keep it portrait. And there are some advanced settings here that we can cover at a later session. So if I go back to the app, I am now on the Home tab. So there's a lot of functionality up here to play with. I have the option to add a new screen, blank screen, scrollable, list, another form. So there is a form in here, and I'll show that in a second. A success screen, tutorials, and there's some other options below that. So speaking of the form screen, if I hit the play button here to play my app, and I want to get to the form, let's say for my business, I want to add new samples. Click on that add button and then category. Sample A. And if I had an image, I can add an image. And that window will pop up and I'll be able to add an image and give it a name. Let's say Lush 3. And an overview and then a price, $10 a square foot. And then I'll hit this button to submit it. Ooh. So it's not saving right now, but that's how you would submit it, and that's how you would add that item to the gallery. So you can see it would pop up here in the gallery. And you can see one that I did do yesterday. So this is how it pops up. Ceramic gray tile, and basically for approval to review by your leadership or your organization. But basically the purpose here is to add more options if you were selling this type of carpet or flooring to your clients, have them be able to have access to this app, and then they can review what's available. But that's how a form is basically filled out and submitted. Going back to the interface. So next item over is themes. And with the themes, you can change the color and look of the app. Next item over is the font and then the font size. So for these two, they're grayed out for now. So I would have to select an item of functionality. So this is a header text box. And so since that's selected, you can see that now I can change the font and then the font size. And next item over is just bold, semi-bold, normal, and lighter, and so forth. So this ribbon looks very much similar to Microsoft Word. It's a lot of functionality in here. Next tab over is insert. So I can insert a label. I can insert a button. I can insert, and I'll just demonstrate that real quick. So now you see a button is associated on my Canvas app. And I can find a space if this wasn't populated with a lot of functionality already and place that on the screen. If I made a mistake with adding something, I can hit the back button. And it's gone. Next item over is text. So you can add a text box. Also, next item over is inputs. So I can add a pen input to sign off on an item. Drop down box, combo box, date pickers, very effective in putting dates into your forms and your apps. Next item over is gallery. So you can see here, there's different types of galleries, and this is what we are looking at right here. This is a gallery. Browse Gallery 1 is the name of it. And we can also add data tables, additional form templates for editing or just display. And we also have media. So we can add an image, we can utilize the camera function on our phones and tablets, we can add a barcode scanner, and even videos. I believe the videos are 20 megs videos, so it's not too much a size of a video there, not too large. And you can also add charts to track information. And here finally we have our icons, which we can add. So you can see there's 3 icons associated to this app. You have our refresh, sort, and the plus icon to add a form. Underneath our view tab, we have our data sources. So we're connected to the OneDrive for Business flooring estimates Excel spreadsheet. That's what's pulling everything and providing all the data within this Canvas app. Again, we have media and we have collections. So collections record information and temporarily save it within your app. And the next tab over, again, we have collections, the availability to remove items, and on visible and hide items. And we also have a button here to create our Power Automate workflow. So basically, I just leverages that functionality within your Canvas app so that you can jump right into flow if you're ready to submit the form here and have a supervisor or someone, a colleague, review the form that you're submitting for a new flooring and carpet sample. Okay, so with that, on the left pane, we have our tree view. So these are all the items of functionality that are included in this Canvas app. So I'm selecting right now the gallery. This rectangle 11 is this header box with all these items of functionality in it. The search icon. And I'm going to select the refresh icon. And you can see here what it's refreshing. So this is the syntax code. So since I have that refresh icon selected, I can go here to the properties associated to that refresh icon. And there's many properties associated to it. The color, border thickness, disabling it, how it's displayed, the height of it. On select, of course, that's what we have selected at this point, and it's going to refresh the gallery, which is flooring estimates coming from our Excel spreadsheet from OneDrive. So on the right pane, we have our icons as well. I'm sorry, our properties as well. So there's a different area, very similar to the properties here. So some of these items are redundant, so there's multiple ways to go through things and change things. So you can see here, I still have reload the refresh icon selected, and I can change certain properties associated to that. Color, borders. So This area here, when you have property selected, is very similar to what you see here when you have the item selected and the properties in this area. A lot of redundancy, a lot of different ways to do things, and you'll find the best way you feel comfortable with making changes. The next tab over is advanced. So this covers a lot of the data coming in, the syntax formulas. Again, if you are familiar with PowerPoint, it's going to be pretty straightforward in creating these Canvas apps. Also, if you have Excel skills and using syntax and formulas in Excel, PowerApps formulas are very similar to what you'll see. So there's a few other options here. And so up here is your error checker. So it'll tell you if you have any errors associated to your app. So that's the app checker icon. And then again, this is your undo. Redo. So if you deleted something that you shouldn't have deleted, you have that option. And then your play button. Also, if you want to share your app, you can save it. And so I'm sharing this as Jarrell's app. I'm going to hit save. It is now saving. And let's say I want to share it with Aaron. Click on share. And it is now saved. So I'll find that app. Flooring estimates. Open it up here, and actually I can save it right, I can share it right here. And I'll put Aaron's name in here. And now she has access. I can make her a co-owner or just a user. So if I want to make her co-owner, click on that and share. So the app has now been shared with Aaron. So that's the pretty much all the items that I've showed here of my demo. I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint at this time. So I know we have a little bit of time left. And I hope you enjoyed that demo. It's just a quick rundown of what's in there, the functionality, and how to just create a quick, simple app, open it up, and run through it. So with Marquee 360, we provide many services for PowerApps. We have workshops. We also have training that we provide, implementations. We can help identify what your business needs are, your requirements, and build you out the app and have you test it and make sure it meets your needs. And then we also provide support for any apps that you may have built. So we're very robust with the kind of functionality and the type of options that we can do. The support, we're very flexible with that. And the next slide is basically, we have other offerings. We create project intake apps. We also create project online to teams, an app for that. And then we also have apps situated with teams governance. And then there's also innovation ready for ideation. So I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So definitely a lot of options here. We're definitely looking forward to possibly teaming up with you and helping you identify your needs within PowerApps, within that realm, also with anywhere within the Microsoft realm of applications and suites. So are there any questions at this time?
All right, if there aren't any questions, thank you guys for joining us. I did put the survey in the chat window. If you guys can take a second and fill that out, that helps us with if the content we're providing you guys is useful. And as always, if you have any suggestions for upcoming topics, feel free to put that in the comments section in the survey. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And our next one-on-one solution will be Power Automate for next month. Thanks so much.
Thank you. You'll have a great day.